Hey everybody, just winding down at the end of a Saturday evening. We're now down to this being not only the last tank of the room that has any light in it, but this is the very last light that I've got lit. I've got all of the upper portion of the tank turned off, so all we're getting is the twinkle and sparkle of the light that's shining down into the tank. I always enjoy this part of the evening, and at least about once a week I always try to shoot a little kind of end of the day video like this. I'm considering putting a 2700K floodlight in what we're looking at now, and maybe, in fact, I might swap out the one that is up top. If you're familiar with this tank, you'll know that not only do I have that big LED grow light panel that lights up this whole area, I've got a floodlight up top that I shine sort of in the upper portions of the tank to get some of those high-reaching plants that don't normally get any serious light. And that is a 2700K floodlight, whereas the one we're looking at now is a 5000K. And I like the 5000K because it just really makes these fish just pop. It really does. They're so pretty underneath of this light. This camera just does not do it justice. I did buy 2 new yellow guppies today, and so they're in there looking beautiful. I believe this one here is one of the new ones. So I now have 3 yellows and a few that are just fancy guppies, but happen to have a lot of yellow in them. And then I've got 2 or 3 cobras in here now. I went over to the PetSmart today just because I was in the area, and I thought I'd stop in to see if they had anything interesting going on. It's always a bad idea. And of course they had some guppies on sale, and it was the yellow males, which are probably my favorite. I don't, maybe the cobras. I really love this orange one, that one that just kind of swam through there and went on by. Really enjoy the way that orange one looks. Just amazing. Not sure what's going on with the belly on this one. That's a male, but it almost looks like it's one of those weird balloon bellies or something. I don't know if that's constipated. I don't know if it's some weird breed that I accidentally got in the tank that I don't know about, or if that's some sort of normal, or common abnormality, I should say. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But I definitely have the one male there that doesn't look proper. So with the 5000K, it's a really nice, I'll say bright white, and I don't mean bright in the sense of high luminosity. I mean bright in the sense of we're pushing more towards the cool end of the spectrum. A lot more blue in there. But this is one of those good high color rendering CREE LEDs, and so we really get a good quality light shining on these fish, and it just makes it look absolutely beautiful. But for the end of the day, this doesn't really look very sunsetty or twilighty or evening. It's that, very bright, sort of middle of the day, 5000K color temperature. This would be what you'd see at 2 o'clock in the afternoon shining in the tank. So I'm curious to see what this would look like with the 2700K shining in there, and if we would actually get the vibrancy of color with that softer color temperature. That lower color temperature will have that softer color. There won't be as much blue in the light, and if the blue isn't in the light, you're not going to see the blue in the fish. So that'll be an interesting experiment. In fact, I can just put you on hold here for a moment, and we can have a look at what this looks like. We'll call this your before, and we call this the after. I really like this a lot. I wish I had done this before. So while I'm sitting here talking about all the blues that I would like to see, and there is a lot of blue in this tank. We've got the opaline gourami, who now looks very different underneath of this softer light, but still looks very good. And then a lot of these fancy guppies have a lot of blue in them as well. But the overarching theme of color in here is more earth tones, more reds, yellows, oranges, that kind of color. And in this case, the 2700K, you know, softer light shining on there just looks really, really nice. And it definitely gives the brain the old sensation of later in the day. It's kind of hard to wind down, as I was explaining. You know, your brain is sort of wired to see that blue light and that natural daylight, and you're really just not pumping out the go to sleep chemicals when you're getting your brain flooded with all that bright blue daylight. So this softer light with a lot more yellow, a lot more orange in it, you know, that really does have a physiological effect of tricking your brain into thinking it's much closer to the end of the day, and it really does help you wind down. I know that I've got in the other room where I spend time in the evening a lot, I had a shop lamp that had 6500K lights in it, and I would always go upstairs, you know, at 11 o'clock at night, and I'd just be all geared up and wound up. And one day I switched it over to 2700K just to see if that would have an impact on me, and it was a huge impact. I really was just a lot more ready to start winding down when I would go upstairs. I didn't feel like I was starting from scratch, you know, and I really do think it's that softer lighting was able to do that. And this is just great. I really like this a lot. So the next time you see this tank in full, you're probably going to see the 5000K looking up at the top of it. You know, down here we're going to stick with this 2700K. Or I don't know, maybe we'll switch them out during the day. If I want to see it in the bright afternoon light, we can put that one in, or vice versa. I can always switch them around however I want them. So let's have a little bit of a look back at the whole thing with this. You can see the light. I didn't paint this one. The other one I painted so that the light itself wasn't so noticeable. So it still gives a lot of good reflective quality, a lot of twinkle and sparkle and shadow on the ceiling. I don't know how well that's coming out over there with all the low lighting. And this Begonia Rex looks fantastic under this light. And these Begonia Rex don't look too bad either. But this one over here is just awesome. I really love this. A friend of mine was over this evening for a visit, and he thought this was an artificial plant. This is another one that the camera just simply does not do justice to. If you look at these leaves in person, they look very, very much like they are a good, high-quality silk plant. They look artificial. They really do. But they're not. That is a Begonia Rex. I've been growing it since last summer, maybe even the summer before. So really enjoying that one, and that looks really good under this soft lighting. And I'm also trying to get my temple plant from the office tank up and going again, and it really is looking just worse and worse every day. So I don't think we're going to be able to bring that temple plant back. I kind of suspected that was the case since it was already in full flower when I cut it. And generally once you know, it's in flower, you can't really get it to switch back over into rooting and vegetative growth. So I left it there. We'll see what happens. But what I did do is go over to my other tank where the original temple plant came from, and I found another cutting that had plenty of roots on it, and I wedged it down there. It's not down in the substrate, but it is down wedged in those rocks enough that if it puts down roots, it'll have plenty of stuff to grab a hold of and plenty of rocks to lean up against. And I'm hoping we'll be able to get some really good emergent growth out of this in the same way that I've got it in my office tank, because that thing just grew crazy out of control. And imagine what that would look like in here if it was growing underneath that good grow light panel that I've got up above this tank. That would just be amazing. I think that's going to be awesome. So cross your fingers. It's got 3 main stalks on it already, so we might actually get to see a group of them come up out of the water, which again would be awesome. So make sure you subscribe and you won't miss that or anything else. I will try to get around to doing an around the world update here in the very near future. I've just been trying to get caught up on so many things. I know I got a stack of videos that I keep promising, and again, I'm going to keep promising them. I will try. I really will. Just hang in there, and again, make sure you subscribe. That way you won't miss any of them. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you real soon on the next one. Don't forget, of course, this one here is my waterfall tank. So thanks again. I'll see you real soon.